Tonight, a clear message sent to Iran from Israel. Hours after Israel launches its retaliatory strike inside Iran, ABC News one-on-one with the spokesperson for the Iranian-backed militant group Hezbollah on Israel's limited attack and what was hit. The message being sent by both sides. We're in Israel with the latest. Plus, a dramatic day in court, likely the final day for Donald Trump before opening arguments in his criminal hush money case kick off next week, now that a jury has been seated in this historic trial. And the scary moment in New York City when a man apparently set himself on fire. And
the days after that just are blank to me. At times I wonder, how did I get through those days?
25 years after the Columbine massacre was etched into American history, in tonight's Prime Focus, we speak with those on the front line of the attacks, the principal who has answered the call, one of the first SWAT team members who responded to the scene, and how the attack still reverberates to this day. And good evening. I'm Phil Lipoff in tonight for Lindsay Davis. Thanks so much for streaming with us. We are, of course, following those stories and much more, including the drama on Capitol Hill, the handful of Republicans now threatening to remove House Speaker Mike Johnson as the House debates much-needed foreign aid bills. Plus, the pilots now suspended after they let a visitor into the captain's seat while the plane was mid-flight. And dozens of millions of dollars, that's how much is tossed away in coins across the country. Where, why, and just how much is really lost every year? We're going to take a look by the numbers. But we begin tonight with that horrific scene outside the courthouse where Donald Trump's historic criminal trial is getting underway. A man near where protesters have been gathering, throwing pamphlets in the air, then dousing himself with a flammable liquid. A frightening scene ensuing with the man engulfed in flames until EMTs with fire extinguishers arrived, bystanders watching in shock and horror, as you would imagine. The man rushed to the hospital where tonight he is in critical condition. Police identifying him as 37-year-old Maxwell Azzarello from St. Augustine, Florida. An essay he posted online full of anti-government conspiracy theories. Meantime, inside the courtroom, a complete jury, 12 jurors and 6 alternates sworn in to determine Trump's fate. What are prosecutors now saying about the first witness? Our senior investigative correspondent, Aaron Katersky, leads us off.
Tonight, the jury of 12 is set. 6 alternate jurors picked, and opening statements set to begin in the historic first-ever criminal trial of a former American president. But this afternoon, as Donald Trump sat before the judge, a major security scare playing out just steps away from the Manhattan courthouse. Chaos and horror as a man hurled pamphlets into the air, then set himself on fire. An eyewitness speaking with ABC's Olivia Rubin.
I heard someone screech and looked in the corner, and there's this guy who just starts dousing himself with fuel and immediately just lit himself on fire.
The man who police identified as 37-year-old Max Azzarello, a resident of Florida, swarmed by law enforcement who put out the flames and transported him to the hospital where tonight he's in critical condition. Police say he posted a host of bizarre anti-government conspiracy theories online under this headline: I have set myself on fire outside the Trump trial. Any evidence of a political motivation here? Do the pamphlets give you any clues as to why this occurred?
The pamphlets seem to be propaganda-based, almost like a conspiracy theory type of pamphlet.
While all this was going on, Donald Trump was never in any danger. The former president safely inside, watching as lawyers wrapped up jury selection. The panel comprised of 7 men and 5 women. There are 6 alternates, 5 women and 1 man, any of whom could jump in if needed. And with this case, that's not a stretch. Today we saw the stress even potential jurors were facing. One woman telling the court, I have really bad anxiety. More and more people in my life know that I'm here without me even telling them, just by putting the pieces together. She was immediately excused. Another woman dismissed after she broke down in tears. Trump, whose eyes were closed, opening them to look at her as she said, I feel so nervous and anxious right now. I'm sorry. I thought I could do this. 174 prospective jurors were dismissed since the trial began. Trump, a lifelong New Yorker, listening for days on end as dozens of people told the court what they thought of him. Some had praise, one man calling Trump a family man and a businessman who brought a lot of value to the economy. Another man was confronted with social media posts where he had described the former president with the words sociopathic incompetence, adding, "I do believe that he is actually the devil." With Trump watching intently, Judge Juan Merchan asked the man if those posts still reflected his opinion. "It's not far off base," he responded, and was immediately excused. And with jury selection now over, Trump's lawyers made one last-ditch effort to delay the trial, but an appeals court turned them down.
The trial starts on Monday, which is long before a lot of people thought. The judge wants us to go as fast as possible. That's for his reasons, not for my reasons.
Former president telling us exactly how he feels. Aaron joins us now from outside the courthouse. Aaron, this trial is now set to begin in earnest. What can we expect Monday morning?
Opening statements. The judge said it as plainly as he could, Phil. Opening statements will come on Monday. Trump's legal team had tried to make a few last-minute arguments, but the judge finally had enough, saying there's nothing else to clarify, nothing else to argue. We will start Monday morning. Phil?
Unprecedented indeed. All right, Aaron Katersky from New York City. Aaron, thank you. Next tonight to Israel's airstrikes and retaliation against Iran. Video posted online appearing to show air defense weapons were used in the overnight strike. U.S. officials say 3 missiles were fired from an Israeli fighter jet outside of Iran. The target, an air defense radar site. Iranian officials saying no nuclear sites were damaged. The strikes come less than a week after Iran's unprecedented attack, launching more than 300 missiles and drones at Israel. So will this back and forth further inflame tensions in the already volatile conflict? We have ABC contributor Mick Mulroy standing by for more. But first, ABC's Matt Gutman has this report from Israel.
Tonight, Israel striking back inside Iran, retaliating for Tehran's first ever direct attack on Israel. The pinpoint strike happening shortly before dawn. Videos circulating online appearing to show explosions in the distance. A senior U.S. official telling ABC News Israeli fighter jets firing at least 3 missiles from outside Iranian airspace, destroying an air defense radar site that protects the Natanz nuclear facility in central Iran. But that nuclear facility, not the intended target. New satellite images released today showing damage near this Iranian airbase. The strike meant to send a message to Tehran that Israel is capable of penetrating even Iran's most sensitive sites, analysts say.
We're not just going to go after the tentacles of the octopus, we're going to go after its head.
ABC News learning that Israel notified the U.S. shortly before its attack. Secretary of State Antony Blinken making it clear today the U.S. had nothing to do with the strike.
The United States has not been involved in any offensive operations. What we're focused on is our work to de-escalate tensions.
Iran also appearing to de-escalate, drawing a curtain of secrecy over the attack, saying there was no damage, no casualties, and blaming it on infiltrators, not directly pointing the finger at Israel. And Israel also projecting business as usual, with not a single official comment from the government or the military. But sources say the limited nature of Israel's response signaling an effort to avoid a wider war after weeks of escalating tensions. Israel's airstrike on Iran's consulate in Syria that killed some of its top commanders. And then Iran's response, that unprecedented barrage of 300 drones and missiles into Israel.
So what happens now? Do Israel and Iran not attack each other directly anymore?
I think this round is over. Both fighters are going to leave the ring, but they'll be back.
And Matt joins us now from Tel Aviv. Matt, a senior U.S. official says Israel destroyed that radar site near an Iranian nuclear facility, clearly meant to send a message. Do U.S. authorities believe this is it, at least for now?
They do, for now. And analysts remind us, Phil, that if they have learned anything over the past few weeks, it's how unpredictable this conflict can be and how quickly it can change. Remember, just 24 hours ago, when the strikes happened, there was concern of an all-out war between Israel and Iran. Now both sides continue to downplay the airstrikes, to de-escalate, and there is a real sense of relief. Phil.
All right, Matt Gutman from Tel Aviv. Matt, thank you. ABC News contributor Mick Mulroy, former Deputy Secretary of Defense for the Middle East and retired CIA officer, joins us now for more. Mick, always good to see you. The Biden administration says the U.S. was not involved in this strike. Why is the U.S. staying out of at least the offensive portion of this conflict? We know the U.S. shot down dozens of projectiles as Israel was being attacked.
Well, I think it's clear that the U.S. really wanted to see this be contained and then de-escalated. And that, in part, is why they made sure that they weren't part of an offensive action, which, of course, could have been much more substantial. So I think Israel did this to show that they could actually reach deep into Iran. Isfahan is very, very deep into Iran, and it's right next to one of their nuclear facilities. But it was a very limited strike, and it was just focused on the radar. So I think they wanted to show them that they could do it, but they also wanted to de-escalate this and essentially, as was just said, get the fighters out of the ring, potentially back to the shadows, but certainly not see another response from Iran like we saw earlier with that unprecedented missile and drone attack.
And Mick, to follow up on what you just pointed out, the target was a defense radar site that is part of this nuclear facility. Was there a strategy behind Israel's decision here with such a limited strike and near this facility? What's at this facility?
Yes, so the facility, the nuclear facility, is where they turn essentially yellow cake into uranium that can then be increased in volume to the point where it becomes a part of the process to make nuclear weapons. It's also fairly near Natanz, about 70 kilometers away, which is their main nuclear site, and it's near an air base. So this shows that they could get, likely with gliding munitions, so the ability to stand off, not actually go into Iran, but launch these missiles from fighter aircraft that could actually get in there essentially undetected and hit the target. So it does show Iran that they really don't have that great of a air and missile defense, but it was very limited to give them the ability to essentially say nothing to see here and not have to retaliate, escalating this even further.
And Mick, what do you think Israel's strategy is by not taking credit for this strike?
So I think, Phil, that is part of the attempt to de-escalate. If you're not, standing on a stage essentially bragging about this, then it gives Iran less of a reason in their public's view to have to respond to it. So I think it's smart. It's generally what Israel does often in the shadow war, so to speak. But this, I think, was deliberately intended, with one exception in the cabinet, Israeli cabinet, to be a silent activity so that Iran doesn't feel compelled to then have to attack Israel again, therefore going up the escalation ladder rather than holding where they are and potentially going back down, which is, I think, where we're going right now. And that's a really good thing. And
obviously, Mick, it's hard to sort of forecast what will happen next in one of the most dangerous parts of the world. But does Iran retaliate once more, at least, attempting a strike on Israel again in this round, as we heard it just talked about? Or is the shadow war between the two countries simply continue?
I think that's where we're headed because of the statements of the Iranian officials that are really trying to downplay what happened here. But that doesn't mean that obviously the conflict between Iran and Israel is over. Iran generally prefers to use their proxy forces like Hezbollah, like Hamas, and like the Houthis and many militias that are located in both Iraq and Syria. So I think we could still see that. And of course, Israel is going to feel like they have to respond by targeting these IRGC Quds Force officers, which are the primary Iranian elements that work with those proxy forces, which is what started all this. So this, of course, right now, I think, is to a place where it will de-escalate, but that does not mean it's over, and it does not mean that this could not essentially start again if Israel then targets what they think is an imminent threat to them by these proxy forces.
Yeah, and as you point out, we've been seeing missile exchanges, skirmishes in the north with Hezbollah even during all of this. Mick Mulroy, always appreciate your insights. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Phil.
And now to Washington, where House Speaker Mike Johnson finds his job in jeopardy. A familiar scene with a showdown brewing on Capitol Hill over foreign aid bills for Ukraine, Israel, and Taiwan. The bills are up for a vote tomorrow. At least 3 House Republicans are now threatening to oust the speaker. So will Democrats come to his rescue? ABC's Selena Wang on Capitol Hill.
The resolution is adopted without objection.
After months of delays, tonight a victory for Speaker Mike Johnson, with the House finally on the cusp of passing tens of billions of dollars in critical aid to Ukraine and Israel.
Look forward to final passage on the bill tomorrow. This is the best possible product that we can get under these circumstances.
In a rare move, Democrats voting to save Johnson's plan after dozens of rebel Republicans opposed the legislation. The stage now set for the House to pass the bills on Saturday. Democrats blasting Republicans for failing to back a package crafted by their own speaker.
We're willing to lead. We're willing to govern.
We're willing to do the people's business. Ronald Reagan would roll over in his grave if he saw what's going on here with the Republican Party.
That bipartisanship making far-right Republicans even angrier as a third joins calls for Johnson to step aside. In a statement tonight, Arizona's Paul Gosar saying, "Our border cannot be an afterthought. We need a speaker who puts America first." They want tougher border security before any more aid goes to Ukraine. But just weeks ago, some of those same Republicans blocked tough border security measures in a Senate deal supported by both Democrats and Republicans after coming under pressure from Donald Trump. But Johnson brushing off those threats.
Are you worried about your job?
No, I don't worry. I just do my job.
And Selena joins us now. Selena, how soon can we expect it to get to the Senate?
Well, Phil, in the House, they're expected to vote on this tomorrow afternoon. From there, it goes to the Senate, and Chuck Schumer says he's got senators on standby as they prepare to tackle these bills next. Now, the president is emphasizing that there's no time to waste here. He's ready to sign these bills as soon as they get to his desk, and he's stressing that Israel and Ukraine desperately need this aid. Phil?
Selena Wang on Capitol Hill tonight. Selena, thank you. And one final note on this, getting swept up into these aid bills for Israel and Ukraine, a plan to possibly ban TikTok. It's nearly the same legislation that passed the House in March, which is aimed at forcing TikTok's Chinese parent company to sell the app or face a ban. If those aid bills are sent over to the Senate, Majority Leader Chuck Schumer won't be able to take up foreign aid without the bill that includes the TikTok ban. So senators could actually strip out the TikTok portion, but that would require sending the legislation back to the House for another vote. The start of New Jersey Senator Bob Menendez's bribery trial was pushed back a week to mid-May after lawyers agreed that the extra days would aid trial preparation. Menendez and two New Jersey businessmen have pleaded not guilty to charges that cash, even gold bars, and a luxury car were given to Menendez and his wife since 2017 in return for the Democratic senator carrying out political favors. Menendez's wife, Nadine, who also has pleaded not guilty, will not go on trial until July at the earliest because of some medical issues. The FBI says it has stopped a potential school shooting and arrested a teenager in Maryland who they say had detailed plans to target both his high school and where he went to elementary school. Here's our Chief Justice correspondent, Pierre Thomas.
Tonight, the FBI, along with state and local authorities in Maryland, say they thwarted 18-year-old Alex Yee's plans to shoot up his high school and his former elementary school after authorities discovered what they called a manifesto with detailed plans to commit mass murder.
Yee writes about targeting his former elementary school because little kids make easier targets. He strategized on how to access the easiest classrooms in his high school and how he would be able to sneak a gun into the school.
Yee, whose legal name is Andrea but uses male and female pronouns and goes by Alex, was known to authorities as having a history of mental health issues and an obsession with school shootings, issues that led him to be removed from school and placed into virtual learning last year. Last month, Yee allegedly shared the 129-page Google document with someone he knew, calling it a work of fiction. But police say when the person read it, they immediately called the police.
He also wrote that he wanted to become a serial killer instead of a mass murderer because serial killers are romanticized a lot more.
Yee was taken to a psychiatric hospital and is now being held without bond, with one count of a threat of mass violence. Police say Yee is obsessed with the Columbine High School massacre. Phil, tomorrow is the 25th anniversary of Columbine. Authorities clearly taking no chances.
Pierre Thomas in Washington. Pierre, thank you. The Biden administration has finalized new Title IX regulations that codify protections for transgender people, as well as enhanced protections for victims of sexual assault or harassment and pregnant people. The new regulations officially add gender identity to the list of protections from sex-based discrimination for the first time, though the administration says it has already been applying that standard. And the countdown has begun for this year's Olympic Games, with the Olympic flame arriving at Greece's most famous landmark, the Acropolis. The torch was first lit in ancient Olympia, the birthplace of the Olympics, in 776 BC. Its international relay will end in Paris with the lighting of the Olympic flame on July 26th. There is still much more to get to here on Prime. The grim update in the investigation into a student police say went missing after a date. But next, 25 years after the mass shooting at Columbine High School, those who experienced it and lost a loved one are still dealing with the pain of that day. In tonight's Prime Focus, we head to Littleton, Colorado, a town still living in the shadow of that horrific tragedy.
5 years later, we were given the final effects of our children. It took 5 years, and they said, "Do you want his clothes?" And I said, "No, but I'll take his shoes." And these are the shoes that he wore that day at Columbine.
Whenever news breaks,
we are here in Israel, a nation at war after that brutal surprise attack by Hamas.
On the ground in Ukraine, reporting from Lewiston, Maine.
The scene of a horrific mass shooting.
ABC News Live is right there everywhere.
From the scene of that deadly missile strike in Dnipro, Ukraine.
Reporting from the earthquake in Turkey.
In Rolling Fork, this tornado tore through this little town.
From the most devastating disaster in Hawaii.
From Charleston, South Carolina, on the 2024 campaign trail.
In Iceland, let's go.
Traveling with the president in Mexico City.
Wherever the story.
From the front lines. From southern Israel.
Outside the Gaza Strip.
In Beirut.
From the FBI.
Reporting from the nurses on the picket line.
Here at 10 Downing Street in London.
Streaming live to you.
Wherever the story is.
Wherever the story is.
Wherever the story is. We're going to take you there.
You're streaming
ABC News Live.
ABC News Live.
You're streaming ABC News Live.
ABC News Live. Streaming free everywhere. America's #1 streaming news.
First thing in the morning.
There's a lot going on.
Yet another avalanche warning that's up.
To catch you up with what happened overnight. A dangerous ice storm is impacting the morning commute.
What's happening today? Escalating tensions in the Middle East.
What people are talking about. The migrant crisis.
Fast, straightforward.
With some fun in between.
How does billionaire sound?
Sounds good to me. The moose started chasing a dog.
First thing in the morning.
America This Morning.
America's #1 early morning news.
On ABC News Live.
What does it take to be the most watched newscast in America?
We are part of an operation.
Is this our Combat Operations Center?
We're approaching the gate. Militants came in from different directions. Nuclear reactor. So you have a couple loaded and ready to go. The house is destroyed, but the flag. Not a carrying it. How important made the USA. Great work.
Hi.
Appreciate you. Thank you. Ismail? David.
I'm David
Muir.
I know who you are.
You
Watch
do?
you every night.
ABC's World News Tonight with David Muir is America's most watched newscast.
Next week, look who's waking up with GMA and you. Zendaya, live. Jerry Seinfeld, live. John Bon Jovi, live. Selena Gomez, Steve Martin, Martin Short. Oh, yeah. The biggest, brightest mornings are on.
Good morning, America.
From the team that brought you the DuPont Award-winning report, a groundbreaking new investigation spanning 9,000 miles.
I just want to talk to people and just get some...
Trashed the secret life of plastic exports, streaming Tuesday night on ABC News Live.
You guys don't know what happened that day. The day that my son died.
911.
The truck fell on my stepson.
Right from the start, you've got some clear indicators of deception.
That told us the complete truth.
Yes, I did. 100%.
No, you didn't.
I could tell by looking at it. You're not a good rider. Do you think this ends in a good way?
The Interrogation Tapes, a new 2020 true crime limited series, Monday on ABC.
Welcome back. It has been 25 years since an act of violence changed our country forever. 13 people, most of them students, were shot and killed at Columbine High School on April 20th of 1999. A winding road of grief and acceptance laid before so many in the wake of that massacre. Tonight, we talk with 3 still on that journey. One of the first responders on the scene, an educator who was in the building, and a grieving father who has found passion and purpose within his pain. Morgan Norwood takes us back to Littleton, Colorado in tonight's Prime Focus.
For a man who was once the head of a storied SWAT team, life looks a little different.
My friend was selling this bike shop, and so he said, well, I'll buy that. And it's been a great, wonderful last year and a half owning and working with these guys at the bike shop. They're wonderful. Everyone's retired, so we just work because we enjoy it now.
From the comfort of his bike shop, now retired, removed from the mountains of Colorado, Grant Whitus is able to look back.
We're right at the McDonald's now, and it's, perhaps you could see medical attention is being brought right now to some of the victims of this shooting incident.
We look back into the 80s where we had mass shootings at McDonald's in California. You know, we heard about it.
As you can see, people are being brought out.
There were hundreds of rounds fired. But you look at Columbine, you got cell phones, you got vans, media vans going around. Everything's real time.
Obviously a developing situation, and we'll just be keeping you posted with the latest.
Grant was the first SWAT officer to run towards the gunfire inside Columbine High School in Littleton, Colorado on April 20th, 1999.
Back then, we had pagers. When it was a SWAT call, pager goes off. By the time I got there had to be 300-400 cops. The streets were packed.
Inside, 2 active shooters targeting their peers.
Once we got in there, we couldn't hear past the next room because of all the alarms going off. When we hit the ground, we started going door by door looking for them. They're scared to death, you know? So, and that was the first time I'd seen anything like that, where children were so scared they wouldn't move. We finished clearing that first level, and there was probably 200-300 kids that we had got out of that first level and out to the street. That was where the media were showing them running out of the school, walked down to the library, not knowing that the library was the main homicide scene at that time. As soon as we got to the door, I said, I'm going around. And I went around them, made entry in there. And as I made a left into the room, there were 3 young children, young girls in there laying. 2 of them were dead. 1 was still alive. So as I stepped over her, believe me, in my mind, we're in the right place. And we were about to get in a firefight right there. So I stepped over the first girl. The second girl had held her hand up for me to help her out. And I said, I can't stop.
By then, the massacre was over. The killers had taken their own lives after killing 13 others, most of them students, leaving law enforcement with agonizing takeaways from their response that day and invaluable lessons learned.
From then on, we started preparing for the next school shooting. And we'd always say, there's another one coming now. They're going to copycat this.
Columbine became a defining moment of his career and in the future of emergency response.
What we learned over the time was, certainly back then, you know, it was surround, wait for SWAT. But later on, everybody was going in. So that's what we were teaching. You get in, small group of people. We first started with 4. You first 4 go immediately. Then it cut down to 1- and 2-man's response to the active shooter. But no matter what, the first person was through that door, engaging the shooter. At least they might have been able to take him out, but he can't be off shooting people when he's in a firefight with the cops.
Whitus, like so many first responders, still carries the enduring pain of that day.
It affected me over the years, you know, but I was that guy that said, I will never crack. And then when I retired from SWAT, I almost cracked then. But it's not like I suffered through, you know, I don't have nightmares about it, anything like that. It just tore me up when it finally ended.
The failures at Columbine, now curriculum.
I was contacted by the National TAC Association within days, and they said, hey, we need a plan to attack this. What are you going to do? Let's come up with a plan, and that's where rapid and immediate deployment started. So they came up with it. We said, all right, this is the teaching model, and we started teaching right away. We started with our department, spread out through Colorado. Within a few years, you know, we started Tech One Consulting, where we were traveling on our own and teaching. We have to get all departments trained, and it's not so much the law enforcement officers. I bet if you look at the failures on these large departments, it's in their admin. Meaning the cops, the SWAT guys wanted to go in, and somebody up in that level that didn't get that training because they were too high to get that training, it felt like they were too high, told them not to go. So they're sitting outside when they know they need to go. But if they go in, they're getting fired. If they don't go in, children are getting killed. So we need cops through that door immediately.
In a sun-soaked park, sitting behind Columbine High School, hidden between playgrounds and rolling hills, is a memorial.
Tom, tell me about this part at the memorial.
So there's 13 stations here, and the families were given the opportunity to say what they wanted to say about their loved one. In this case, it was my wife that came up with all of this. She did just a wonderful job of describing Daniel and his gentle spirit and his shy grin.
that gives the smallest glimpse into who each victim was.
Sometimes being intense. It could be that way. And I love the way she closed. In the most profound sense, however, Daniel was one who, despite difficulties, knew the ineffable sweetness of life, and it was part of him.
Does it ever get any easier standing here at this memorial?
It does with time.
For Tom Mauser, each April 20th brings a profound grief.
I was calling my wife. I couldn't reach my wife. The phone lines in Denver were very tied up. She had been to the one place they were taking kids who had escaped. And he wasn't there, and his name wasn't on the board. We spent the evening not knowing what had happened to him. And the next day, it wasn't until noon that we finally got the visit from the police saying that he was one of the victims. So it was essentially about 24 hours not knowing. It was just the worst day of my life.
His son, Daniel Mauser, was shot and killed in the library at Columbine High School. The sophomore was just 15.
The days after that just are blank to me. At times I wonder, how did I get through those days?
Soon, grief turned into activism, Tom finding himself at the forefront of the fight for stricter gun legislation.
We have a lot of people that just want to do nothing and pretend that nothing is wrong, or that it's just the person. You know, and that this is not about confiscation. It's a matter of who has them and how do we treat them and what is responsible gun ownership.
A 25-year journey, a truth many would find daunting, but not Daniel's dad.
It's a cultural change, and cultural changes take time. And unfortunately now in this country, it's become it's a polarized issue. What I really focus on is trying to reach those people in the middle.
And any time the feeling of defeat creeps closer, all Tom needs to do is look down.
5 years later, we were given the final effects of our children. It took 5 years. And they said, "Do you want his clothes?" And I said, "No, but I'll take his shoes." And these are the shoes that he wore that day at Columbine. It kind of empowers me in a way, because Daniel was a very shy kid. And yet, on his own, he chose to join the debate team at Columbine. And I'm also introverted. And I stepped into something, you know, really, really different and threatening when I made myself a public person on the issue of gun violence. And I said, you know, I have to be able to deal with that. I have to speak to people. And if Daniel can do it, I can do it.
Frank DeAngelis wore his role as high school principal like a badge of honor.
You know, that's something I have to live with for the rest of my life. 13 funerals.
No one ever believed it would happen at Columbine High School in Littleton, Colorado. But hopefully people across the nation, people across the state will realize that it could happen in their school. It could happen in any school in this state or any school in the nation.
It was tough. And I can remember when our kids came back and parents are saying, "Is it safe?" And I said, we were probably one of the safest schools in the world. But it was tough that anytime there was a police car in the area, parents would just flood this area thinking, what's going on?
He vowed to stick around just a few years after the shooting. As the dust slowly settled, instead, he felt compelled to stay and to pay attention.
But I realized pretty soon that I needed to listen to the students. When we came back into this building, we needed to do things that was conducive for learning.
In 2014, Frank retired. His time as principal may have ended, but his time as an educator has not. He continues to serve as an advisor for safety and emergency management for the school district and travels the world speaking about what he's learned in the past 25 years.
And I'm going to continue doing it because I am not going to allow them to die in vain, along with all the other students and staff members who have lost their life. And that's a promise that I can guarantee.
And continuing to spread such critical information. Our thanks to Morgan. There is still much more to get to tonight. Coming up, the mechanical issue leading Tesla to recall thousands of its Cybertrucks. But next, how much cash do you actually carry around? We're going to take a look at how people pay and the amount they're losing by the numbers.
A tragedy in a small town. A church pastor is dead.
Shot in the back with a 12-gauge shotgun.
people were like, what? The preacher's wife?
There had to be a good reason, some speculated, to pick up that shotgun and shoot her husband.
Mary appeared to have had a marriage made in heaven, but behind closed doors, it was a living hell.
All new 2020, tonight at 9/8 Central on ABC.
Here's to good mornings in America.
Can you feel the love?
Oh, yeah.
Mornings that inspire, filled with hope, kindness, joyous surprises, and so much fun.
This is crazy. This is absolutely crazy.
Start your day with Good Morning America's ray of sunshine, highlighting the best of America and helping
make dreams come true.
Wow. I'm just so happy.
It's so good.
Get ready to smile and put the good into your morning, America, because
you know what will make the morning better? A little ray of sunshine.
This is ABC News Live.
The crush of families here in Poland.
At refugee centers
In Putin's Russia.
on the ground in Ukraine.
Close to the front line.
From the capital, destructive Cat 4 storm.
Here along I-5.
Boston is in the bullseye.
Let's go.
ABC News Live, America's #1 streaming news. Anytime, anywhere. Streaming 24/7, straight to you for free.
Thank you for making ABC News Live America's #1 streaming news.
They're the most mysterious creatures on Earth. They're masterminds, shapeshifters. They're just so incredibly alien. And yet, more like us than we ever could have imagined. What more do they have to tell us?
First thing in the morning.
There's a lot going on.
Yet another avalanche warning that's up.
To catch you up with what happened overnight. A dangerous ice storm is impacting the morning commute.
What's happening today? Escalating tensions in the Middle East.
What people are talking about. The migrant crisis.
Fast, straightforward.
With some fun in between.
How does billionaire sound?
Sounds good to me. The moose started chasing a dog.
First thing in the morning.
America This Morning.
America's #1 early morning news.
On ABC News Live.
Why do so many people start their day here?
From ABC News, this is Start Here.
To be in the know and get a different take on the day's top stories.
A lot of news today, so let's get into it.
Listen now to the Daily News Podcast honored with 4 Edward R. Murrow Awards and see why the New York Times calls it a news podcast worth listening to. Start Here, ABC News. Make it your daily first listen.
Now, that's a part of the story I bet you didn't see coming.
Wherever you get your podcasts, Start Here.
It's lunchtime in America, so what are we serving up?
Well, how about everything you need to know?
You know, that sounds pretty good.
give it to me. Your health, your money, breaking news, pop culture, with the biggest stars, music, trends, and of course, good food. GMA 3, what you need to know. A third hour of GMA in the afternoon.
So join us, afternoons.
For everything you need to know. I love that.
Reporting from the 2024 campaign trail in North Charleston, South Carolina, I'm Rachel Scott. Wherever the story is, we'll take you there. You're streaming ABC News Live.
Welcome back. Capital One likes to ask, what's in your wallet? Increasingly, the answer is plastic, not cash, and certainly not coins. How we pay for stuff is tonight's By the Numbers. About 60% of all payments today are made using credit or debit cards. That number was 45% in 2016, according to the Federal Reserve. And back then, 31% of payments involved cash. That number today is only 18% because we seem to prefer security of plastic, not to mention credit card reward programs. The Federal Reserve says more than half of the coins in circulation are actually not circulating at all. They're just sitting at home, probably in your couch cushions, most likely. Two fun facts here, though. $68 million, that's the value of the change we throw away every year, the waste management company Reworld estimates. And the Department of Homeland Security says we leave roughly 900,000 at the airport every year, much of it from unclaimed coins we dump into those plastic bins. Coins continue to be a headache for the U.S. Mint, which takes a loss on pennies and nickels. Each penny actually costs 3 cents to produce and distribute, and each nickel costs 11.5 cents. The copper-nickel alloy used to mint most coins is practical given its resistance to corrosion. but impractical given the high price of copper. There is much more ahead here on Prime. She's just 30 years old, but tennis pro Danielle Collins is hanging up her racket. The health battles forcing her to leave the court. And as gymnasts participate in one of the last big competitions before the Olympic trials, gold medalist Ali Raisman walks us through the top contenders and the outlook for Paris 24.
Whenever, wherever news breaks, it's so important to always remember that lives are changed. Here in London, in Buffalo, Uvalde, Texas,
Edinburgh, Scotland, from Poland once again tonight. Thank you so much for streaming with us. Ukrainian refugees here in Warsaw. Do you think you'll ever be able to go back home? We're heading to a small community outside of Mexico City. Splintered houses and splintered lives. The magnitude of the devastation. You're streaming ABC News Live. Reporting from Rolling Fork, Mississippi, Santa Fe, New Mexico, Raleigh, North Carolina, the U.S. Capitol, Mayfield, Kentucky, Minneapolis, Mexico, Tongass National Forest, Alaska. Getting you behind the stories as they happen, giving you a front row seat to our world as it plays out in real time, live. ABC News Live Prime. We'll take you there.
Stream ABC News Live weeknights, America's most honored streaming news program, only on ABC News Live. Streaming free right now wherever you stream your news.
First thing in the morning.
There's a lot going on. Yet another avalanche warning that's up.
To catch you up with what happened overnight. A dangerous ice storm is impacting the morning commute.
What's happening today? Escalating tensions in the Middle East.
What people are talking about. The migrant crisis.
Fast, straightforward.
With some fun in between.
How does billionaire sound?
Sounds good to me. The moose started chasing a dog.
First thing in the morning.
America This Morning.
America's #1 early morning news.
On ABC News Live.
Donald Trump on trial, Joe Biden on the campaign trail, and the fight over helping Israel and Ukraine. Will the Democrats help Speaker Johnson? Sunday morning on ABC's This Week.
Hi, I'm Andy. And I'm Sabrina. And we're moms, juggling tons of stuff every day, like all you moms out there. And you know what we love? Really love? Pop culture. So what happens when being obsessed with pop culture collides with being a mom? You get us. So listen now to our new podcast, Pop Culture Moms, wherever you get your podcasts.
What would you do?
I was thinking I want to open up our marriage.
If you heard a husband being asked to open up his marriage.
I don't know if I feel comfortable that you've already, made decisions without me.
Well, just wait until you see what our hidden cameras catch.
I do not want another man in our marriage.
Well, this is what I want. Kate is on his way.
Wow. A dinner and a show. And just wait till you see what happens when he walks in.
Hell no.
What would you do? Sunday night, all new on ABC.
Get ready, America, every Friday.
The hottest trends, styles, and must-have. What's the right stuff to buy right now? I really love that. It's time to buy the right stuff.
Yes.
And save big time, too.
The right stuff.
Fridays on GMA. You're going to love it.
Why do so many people start their day here?
From ABC News, this is Start Here.
To be in the know and get a different take on the day's top stories. Start Here.
Now, that's a part of the story I bet you didn't see coming.
Make it your daily first listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Welcome back. There are grim new details in a missing student investigation. Tesla recalls thousands of its trucks, and the latest city to benefit from panda diplomacy. Those stories and more in tonight's rundown.
Officials in Milwaukee say a severed torso and arm washed ashore on Lake Michigan are believed to be that of Shade Robinson. Police say the 19-year-old college student went missing earlier this month after going on a first date with Maxwell Anderson. Additional remains have been recovered by police in various locations throughout the month. Anderson was arrested shortly after the first remains were discovered. Milwaukee law enforcement said they will keep searching the area around Lake Michigan for further evidence. Maxwell is being held on a $5 million bond, and a preliminary examination is set for April 22nd. Federal regulators are recalling Tesla's eye-catching new truck because of a risk of inadvertent acceleration. Nearly 4,000 Tesla Cybertrucks are being recalled because of a risk of uncontrolled acceleration. It's caused by a pad on the accelerator pedal that could dislodge and get trapped. Owners can contact Tesla for more information. Notices will be sent out by mail in June. Tesla service will replace or repair the pedal at no charge. For For the first time, North Carolina residents will be able to purchase cannabis from a medical dispensary in the state. The dispensary exists on tribal land controlled by the Eastern Band of the Cherokee Indians, who legalized medical marijuana in 2021. While marijuana is still illegal in North Carolina, customers can only purchase and consume cannabis products on sovereign tribal territory. The new shop will open its doors this weekend on April 20th. Tennis pro Danielle Collins announced she is retiring from the sport. The 30-year-old American tennis player was at the peak of her career, ranked 15th on the WTA Tour and winning 2 major tournaments. But she plans to retire at the end of the season amid 2 ongoing health battles, rheumatoid arthritis and endometriosis. Collins said the possibility of facing infertility due to endometriosis helped speed up her decision to retire, and added that becoming a mother is one of her biggest dreams off the court. Officials in Beijing announced that the San Francisco Zoo has been selected to receive a pair of giant pandas. The mayor of San Francisco, London Breed, joined officials from the China Wildlife Conservation Association in the Chinese capital to sign a memorandum of understanding on panda conservation. It is the first step in the process to eventually bring giant pandas back to the U.S. The pandas are expected to arrive in 2025. Breed called her city an international destination and the gateway to the Asia Pacific. A late-night surprise from Taylor Swift. The pop star dropped her new album, The Tortured Poets Department, at midnight. Fans rushed to stream the 16 songs and decode the lyrics. And then they were hit with a surprise. It's a double album, another 15 songs. The BBC calls the album vulnerable but vicious. USA Today says it's hauntingly brilliant.
Last season, audiences were introduced to the small town of Deerfield, where a mysterious machine called the Morpho appears at a local store, promising to reveal each resident's true potential. Now, the award-winning hit, The Big Door Prize, is back for a second season and is sure to leave audiences on the edge of their seats. Take a look.
That thing will tell you your life's potential.
The Morpho made everybody think about their dreams. And now it's saying,
are you ready for the next stage?
How do we get to the next stage?
That's a good question. I think we're going to try to answer that. Joining us now is the show's creator, David West Reed, and Chris Dowd, who plays Dusty. Thank you both for joining us.
Thanks for having us, man.
You are a funny guy. People couldn't hear you during the commercial break, but when I saw the promo for this show, I can't remember when it was, but I went, wow, that's a fascinating, interesting idea. What got you to that point in this sort of mystical world?
Well, the show is based on a book by Emma Walsh, The Big Door Prize.
Yep.
And I was so drawn to, it's really a comedy about what it means to be happy. And it has these moments of very silly, over-the-top hilarity, and then it's also very heartfelt. It's also a little bit magical, and it just felt like anything, unlike anything else. So I was really excited to adapt it to TV.
Well, just knowing him for 3 minutes, it seems like you picked the right guy for Dusty. What drew you to the role when you saw the script?
Well, I thought the story was very engaging. And the idea of this almost social experiment in the middle of the show, which asks people in this kind of microcosm of America, in this small local town, if a magic machine turned up and asked you, would you like to change the direction of your life? Would you take that choice?
Last season ended with the Morpho machine displaying this message that we sort of just saw, asking, are you ready for the next stage? So you said it was a good question. David, what's the next stage?
Well, we get to see in the second season, once people are confronted with this idea of what their potential might be, what are they willing to do in order to achieve it? And we see characters, including Chris's Dusty, taking some pretty big risks to explore that other life path.
Right, there's knowing and then there's pursuing. Right. And so Dusty, at the end of last season, suspended on a Ferris wheel, right?
That's
contemplating the future of his relationship.
Wasn't ideal, Phil.
Well, it wasn't ideal for you,
No.
So what happens? Can you give us any kind of what happens to Dusty?
Well, when we leave him at the end of season 1, he's in the midst of a midlife crisis throughout the show. And one of the consequences of that is he's questioning his long-term relationship with his wife of over 20 years. And he decides, or they decide, to maybe try something else. So he goes into the dating pool, as does she. And I mean, it doesn't go wonderfully because, you know, he's basically a moron. Socially, romantically, in lots of ways, he's really smart. But he's at the stage where he's been in a relationship so long, his virginity is growing back, and everybody can see that. Everybody could see it, Phil. So he's just out there trying to make a life for himself.
I have never heard it put like that. You are a lot of fun. David, you use the word mysterious. You could look at this and see the mystical nature of it. But I think at the heart, it's really about, and Chris does a good job sort of describing it with some humor, but it's really about relationships, is it not? And isn't that what sort of we all can relate to?
Yeah, I think there's one magical element in a very grounded world, and it's more of a catalyst for the story, which is about people and relationships, and you know, considering not only the path you haven't taken in your life, but the path that you have taken, and that idea of, you know, not only imagining some other life, but celebrating the one that you have. So, you know, to me, that was a really rich idea for a show, and you get to see that through so many different perspectives and such an amazing cast in the second season.
All right, David and Chris, thanks so much for joining us tonight, stopping by. I really do appreciate it. And you can watch Season 2's first 3 episodes of The Big Door Prize April 23rd on Apple TV+. Just as women's sports are hitting an all-time high, gymnasts are coming together this weekend to compete at one of the last big competitions before the Olympic team trials. Olympic gold medalist Aly Raisman has made a name for herself as one of the hardest working gymnasts in the world. Now she is taking all that experience and perseverance into ESPN's commentator booth this weekend, assessing other world-renowned athletes. And Aly joins us right now. So good of you to take the time. We do appreciate it. The NCAA Women's Finals this weekend is one of the last big competitions before the Olympic team trials in June, where Team USA will be chosen ahead of the Paris Olympics. What are you looking for out there on the floor this weekend?
Thank you so much for having me. So this competition this weekend is for collegiate gymnastics, and it's actually totally separate than the Olympic selection. There are actually several gymnasts that either are Olympians trying for the U.S. Olympic team or are already qualified to compete for other countries in the competition. But this competition doesn't tell us anything about who's going to make that Olympic team. It's not a qualifier for the Olympics, but of course for the athletes that are trying to make that Olympic team for the U.S., it's another place for them to gain confidence.
So let's talk a little bit about that. Oklahoma was denied a three-peat at the NCAA title, with Utah and Florida clinching the final 2 spots. This weekend, along with LSU and UC Berkeley, Haley Bryant from LSU was just crowned the 2024 all-around champion. Do you think she can help LSU to its first ever national title?
Haley Bryant is unbelievable. I'm so thrilled for her that she won the all-around, and it's always such a joy to be able to watch her. She's even more amazing in person. I think that Haley is definitely going to have a huge impact on the LSU team. They look ready, they look confident. But what's really interesting is I think that tomorrow during the competition, there's 4 teams, and all 4 of them have a shot at winning the title. So I'm so curious to see how it's going to turn out. It's going to be really exciting, and I think it's going to come down to which team can take it one moment at a time and not make the competition too big.
Last year's NCAA women's gymnastics viewership was a record setter, and we all just saw the same with women's NCAA basketball beating the men's. Women's sports is having quite a moment right now, is it not?
It's really exciting, and it's about time. It was so fun to be able to watch women's basketball, and I am just hard to put into words how exciting it is and how much, how happy I am and just honored to be able to be just a small part of this women's gymnastics in college. It's really exciting. It's an amazing time, and just excited for the momentum to keep building, and hopefully this is just the beginning for women's sports.
I'm curious, after hearing all the commentary during your own performances, if you obviously not while you're doing it, but when you go back and look at it, how is your experience, you think, as this decorated gymnast, this world-class gymnast, help you prepare for this particular moment? Will you be harder on people because you've been there, or more understanding?
I hope that I'm more understanding. Last night in the competition, when Oklahoma and Alabama were struggling a lot, there was a lot of falls. I tried to show people more of the human side of it because I think sometimes gymnastics looks so easy and people forget how difficult it is and how much pressure all these gymnasts are under. The beam is only 4 inches wide, so it's a lot of pressure. There's really no room for, the margin for error is so small. So I try to remind people that these athletes are human, and sometimes no matter how much you prepare, you just have an off day. So I hope that people think I go easier on them because I know how it feels, and I also just feel it's heartbreaking to watch people make mistakes because I know how much they care and how hard they work to get here.
Yeah, well, you just said some people think gymnastics looks easy, maybe for someone like you, but I can tell you nothing you have ever done out there has ever looked anything but very difficult to me. So, Allie, thank you so much for taking the time. We really do appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
And you can watch the 2024 Women's National Collegiate Gymnastics Championship tomorrow on ABC and ESPN at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard. And that's our show for tonight. I'm Phil Lipoff. ABC News Live is here for you all night with the latest news, context, and analysis. And you can always find us on Hulu, Roku, Pluto TV, the ABC News app, and of course, abcnews.com. Good night. And coming up in the next hour, as the jury is seated in Donald Trump's criminal trial, the disturbing sight outside of the courthouse. And it's the world's largest election. It comes in waves. How many phases they have left and how many people are expected to vote.
Why do so many people start their day here?
From ABC News, this is Start Here.
To be in the know and get a different take on the day's top stories.
A lot of news today, so let's get into it.
Listen now to the Daily News Podcast honored with 4 Edward R. Murrow Awards and see why the New York Times calls it a news podcast worth listening to. Start Here, ABC News. Make it your daily first listen.
Now, that's a part of the story I bet you didn't see coming.
Wherever you get your podcasts, Start Here.
It's lunchtime in America, so what are we serving up?
Well, how about everything you need to know?
You know, that sounds pretty good.
Give it to me. Your health, your money, breaking news, pop culture, with the biggest stars, music, trends, and of course, good food. GMA 3, what you need to know. A third hour of GMA in the afternoon.
So join us after news.
For everything you need to know. I love that.
So these bags are identical, but one is real and one is fake.
This feels like real.
So I got a bunch of super fakes.
Some of these are chef's kiss.
This is a counterfeit.
Really?
The Louis Vuitton, the Prada, the Gucci, we get everything.
To make a super fake is easier now than ever before.
Anybody can be fooled. Anybody.
Super Fakes, now streaming on Hulu.
With so much at stake, so much on the line, more Americans turn here than any other newscast. ABC News World News Tonight with David Muir, America's #1 most watched newscast across all of television.
911.
The coat fell on my stepson.
You guys don't know what happened that day. The day that my son died. You're not a good liar. Do you think this ends in a good way?
The interrogation tapes, Monday on ABC. Why do so many people start their day here?
This is Start Here.
To be in the know and get a different take on the day's top stories. Listen now to the Daily News Podcast honored with 4 Edward R. Murrow Awards. Start Here, ABC News. Make it your daily first listen. Wherever you get your podcasts, Start Here.
Donald Trump on trial, Joe Biden on the campaign trail, and the fight over helping Israel and Ukraine. Will the Democrats help Speaker Johnson? Sunday morning on ABC's This Week.
This is not about parents who just let their kid watch violent movies, play violent video games. This is about parents who neglected their son, ignored his cries for help, then bought him a gun.
The first parents in America to be charged in a school shooting.
They purchased that gun for him and bragged about it.
You don't get to walk away from that. That's a criminal act.
Sins of the parents, the Crumbly trials.
The opposite of love is not hate. It's just being ignored.
only on Hulu.
Reporting from Monterey Park, California, I'm Robin Roberts. Wherever the story is, we're going to take you there. You're streaming ABC News Live.
Good evening. This is ABC News Live Prime. I'm Phil Lipoff in tonight for Lindsay Davis. We've got a lot to get to, so we're going to start with this, including hours after Israel launches its retaliatory strike inside Iran. ABC News is one-on-one with the spokesperson for the Iran-backed militant group Hezbollah on Israel's limited attack, what was hit, and the messages being sent by both sides. We're in Israel with the latest. Plus, the dramatic day in court, likely the final day for Donald Trump before opening arguments in his criminal hush money case kick off next week, now that a jury has been seated in this historic trial, and the scary moment in New York when a man apparently sets himself on fire. And the developing story on Capitol Hill, the handful of Republicans now threatening to remove Republican House Speaker Mike Johnson as the House debates much-needed foreign aid bills. But we begin with that horrific scene outside the courthouse where Donald Trump's historic criminal trial is underway. A man near where protesters have been gathering, throwing pamphlets up in the air, then dousing himself with a flammable liquid. A frightening scene ensuing with the man then being engulfed in flames. Until EMTs with fire extinguishers arrived, bystanders were watching in shock and horror. The man rushed to the hospital where tonight we're told he's listed in critical condition. Police identifying him as 37-year-old Maxwell Azzarello from St. Augustine, Florida. An essay he posted online full of anti-government conspiracy theories. Meantime, inside the courthouse, a complete jury, 12 jurors and 6 alternates, sworn in to determine Trump's fate. Our senior investigative correspondent, Aaron Katersky, leads us off.
Tonight, the jury of 12 is set. 6 alternate jurors picked, and opening statements set to begin in the historic first-ever criminal trial of a former American president. But this afternoon, as Donald Trump sat before the judge, a major security scare playing out just steps away from the Manhattan courthouse. Chaos and horror as a man hurled pamphlets into the air, then set himself on fire. An eyewitness speaking with ABC's Olivia Rubin.
I heard someone screech and looked in the corner, and there's this guy who just starts dousing himself with fuel and immediately just lit himself on fire.
The man who police identified as 37-year-old Max Azzarello, a resident of Florida, swarmed by law enforcement who put out the flames and transported him to the hospital where tonight he's in critical condition. Police say he posted a host of bizarre anti-government conspiracy theories online under this headline: I have set myself on fire outside the Trump trial.
Any evidence of a political motivation here? Do the pamphlets give you any clues as to why this occurred?
The pamphlets seem to be propaganda-based, almost like a conspiracy theory type of pamphlet.
While all this was going on, Donald Trump was never in any danger. The former president safely inside, watching as lawyers wrapped up jury selection. The panel comprised of 7 men and 5 women. There are 6 alternates, 5 women and 1 man, any of whom could jump in if needed. And with this case, that's not a stretch. Today we saw the stress even potential jurors were facing. One woman telling the court, I have really bad anxiety. More and more people in my life know that I'm here without me even telling them, just by putting the pieces together. She was immediately excused. Another woman dismissed after she broke down in tears. Trump, whose eyes were closed, opening them to look at her as she said, I feel so nervous and anxious right now. I'm sorry. I thought I could do this. 174 prospective jurors were dismissed since the trial began. Trump, a lifelong New Yorker, listening for days on end as dozens of people told the court what they thought of him. Some had praise, one man calling Trump a family man and a businessman who brought a lot of value to the economy. Another man was confronted with social media posts where he had described the former president with the words sociopathic incompetence, adding, I do believe that he is actually the devil. With Trump watching intently, Judge Juan Merchan asked the man if those posts still reflected his opinion. It's not far off base, he responded, and was immediately excused. And with jury selection now over, Trump's lawyers made one last-ditch effort to delay the trial, but an appeals court turned them down.
The trial starts on Monday, which is long before a lot of people thought. The judge wants us to go as fast as possible. That's for his reasons, not for my reasons.
Our thanks to Aaron Katersky from New York City. Next to Israel's airstrikes in retaliation against Iran, video posted online appearing to show air defense weapons hit. U.S. officials say 3 missiles were fired from an Israeli fighter jet outside Iran. The target, an air defense radar site. Iranian officials say no nuclear sites were damaged. The strikes come less than a week after Iran's unprecedented attack, launching more than 300 missiles and drones at Israel. Matt Gutman has this report from inside Israel.
Tonight, Israel striking back inside Iran, retaliating for Tehran's first ever direct attack on Israel. The pinpoint strike happening shortly before dawn. Videos circulating online appearing to show explosions in the distance. A senior U.S. official telling ABC News Israeli fighter jets firing at least 3 missiles from outside Iranian airspace, destroying an air defense radar site that protects the Natanz nuclear facility in central Iran, but that nuclear facility not the intended target. New satellite images released today showing damage near this Iranian airbase. The strike meant to send a message to Tehran that Israel is capable of penetrating even Iran's most sensitive sites, analysts say.
We're not just going to go after the tentacles of the octopus, we're going to go after its head.
ABC News learning that Israel notified the U.S. shortly before its attack. Secretary of State Antony Blinken making it clear today the U.S. had nothing to do with the strike.
The United States has not been involved in any offensive operations. What we're focused on is our work to de-escalate tensions.
Iran also appearing to de-escalate, drawing a curtain of secrecy over the attack, saying there was no damage, no casualties, and blaming it on infiltrators, not directly pointing the finger at Israel. And Israel also projecting business as usual, with not a single official comment from the government or the military. But sources say the limited nature of Israel's response signaling an effort to avoid a wider war after weeks of escalating tensions. Israel's airstrike on Iran's consulate in Syria that killed some of its top commanders. And then Iran's response, that unprecedented barrage of 300 drones and missiles into Israel. So what happens now? Do Israel and Iran not attack each other directly anymore?
I think this round is over. Both fighters are going to leave the ring, but they'll be back.
Matt Gutman from Tel Aviv tonight. Matt, thank you. With White House Speaker Mike Johnson's job in jeopardy, there is a showdown on Capitol Hill over foreign aid bills for Israel, Ukraine, and Taiwan. The bills are up for a vote tomorrow. At least 3 House Republicans now threatening to oust the speaker. So will Democrats come to his rescue? ABC's Selena Wang on Capitol Hill.
The resolution is adopted without objection.
After months of delays, tonight a victory for Speaker Mike Johnson. With the House finally on the cusp of passing tens of billions of dollars in critical aid to Ukraine and Israel.
Look forward to final passage on the bill tomorrow. This is the best possible product that we can get under these circumstances.
In a rare move, Democrats voting to save Johnson's plan after dozens of rebel Republicans opposed the legislation. The stage now set for the House to pass the bills on Saturday. Democrats blasting Republicans for failing to back a package crafted by their own speaker.
We're willing to lead. We're willing to govern. We're willing to do the people's business. Ronald Reagan would roll over in his grave if he saw what's going on here with the Republican Party.
That bipartisanship making far-right Republicans even angrier as a third joins calls for Johnson to step aside. In a statement tonight, Arizona's Paul Gosar saying, "Our border cannot be an afterthought. We need a speaker who puts America first." They want tougher border security before any more aid goes to Ukraine. But just weeks ago, some of those same Republicans blocked tough border security measures in a Senate deal supported by both Democrats and Republicans after coming under pressure from Donald Trump. But Johnson brushing off those threats.
Are you worried about your job?
I don't worry. I just do my job.
Our thanks to Selena Wang. A Maryland teenager has been arrested after investigators say they uncovered evidence he was planning to carry out a mass shooting. 18-year-old Alex Yee of Rockville has been charged with threatening mass violence at a Montgomery County school after law enforcement were alerted to a 129-page memoir he allegedly wrote. Court records show it included descriptions of a shooting at a high school and an elementary school. He previously described the writing as fiction. He has not entered a plea and is currently in custody awaiting a bond hearing. There's still much more to get to tonight. Coming up, the site of the Parkland school shooting is set to be demolished. A father of one of the victims talks about his grief and the White House official he convinced to tour the aftermath. But next, heavy rain causing major flooding across Pakistan, the deadly ripple effect it's causing.
Whenever news breaks,
we are here in Israel, a nation at war after that brutal surprise attack by Hamas.
On the ground in Ukraine, reporting from Lewiston, Maine.
The scene of a horrific mass shooting.
ABC News Live is right there everywhere.
From the scene of that deadly missile strike in Dnipro, Ukraine.
Reporting from the earthquake in Turkey. In Rolling Fork, this tornado tore through this little town.
From the most devastating disaster in Hawaii.
From Charleston, South Carolina, on the 2024 campaign trail.
In Iceland, let's go.
Traveling with the president in Mexico City.
Wherever the story.
From the front lines, from southern Israel.
Outside the Gaza Strip.
In Beirut.
From the FBI.
Reporting from the nurses on the picket line.
Here at 10 Downing Street in London.
Streaming live to you.
Wherever the story is.
Wherever the story is.
Wherever the story is. We're going to take you there.
You're streaming
ABC News Live.
ABC News Live.
You're streaming ABC News Live.
ABC News Live. Streaming free everywhere. America's #1 streaming news.
Can you believe it? It's 25 years of breakfast in bed, surprising moms across America.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness.
And for our 25th anniversary, we're making it the biggest surprise yet.
A full-on breakfast in bed extravaganza like you have never seen before.
So go to goodmorningamerica.com or scan this QR code to find out how to enter a deserving mom you love for breakfast in bed.
From the team that brought you the DuPont Award-winning report, a groundbreaking new investigation spanning 9,000 miles.
I just want to talk to people. I just get some...
Trashed the secret life of plastic exports, streaming Tuesday night on ABC News Live.
Donald Trump on trial, the first criminal prosecution of an ex-president. Joe Biden on the campaign trail, and the fight over helping Israel and Ukraine. Will the Democrats help Speaker Johnson? Will he be able to keep his job as Speaker? Sunday morning on ABC's This Week.
Reporting from Monterey Park, California, I'm Robin Roberts. Wherever the story is, we're going to take you there. You're streaming ABC News Live.
Welcome back. We are tracking several headlines around the world at this hour. At least 69 people across Pakistan are dead after heavy rainfall caused severe flooding there. The rain began at the start of April and was forecast by Pakistani officials to affect most of the country. Aside from those killed, dozens have been suffering injuries from lightning strikes, buildings collapsing, and from other weather-related incidents. A substantial number of Indians voted on Friday in the world's largest election, the first of 7 phases. Friday's vote had 166 million voters in 102 constituencies across 21 states and territories. Almost 1 billion people in the world's most populous nation are eligible to vote, and results are set for June 4th. And the countdown has begun for this year's Olympic Games, with the Olympic flame arriving at Greece's most famous landmark, the Acropolis. The torch was first lit in ancient Olympia, the birthplace of the Olympics, in 776 BC. Its international relay will end in Paris with the lighting of the Olympic flame on July 26th. This weekend marks 25 years since the Columbine High School shooting rocked our nation. And since that day, you know, across our country, we've seen mass shooting events time and time again. One of them in Parkland, Florida, where a gunman stormed Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School, killing 17, injuring another 17. The building where the violence happened is set to be demolished this summer. But before that, it sat untouched, the chaos and loss still strewn across the hallways and classrooms. Our Rachel Scott sat down with a father-turned-activist who lost his daughter in that shooting about how he convinced Vice President Kamala Harris to tour the tragic aftermath.
I do want to start with you telling me about your push to get the vice president here. Where did that come from?
I guess about 10 months ago, when the building was turned over from the state attorney to the school district, one of the other dads, Max Schachter, had this idea of walking through political people to see what's happening in that building, or what happened in that building. The blood is still there. The DNA is still there. The shards of glass are still there. The books and all the coursework, it's still out there on the desks as if the kids just went out for a fire drill. It's all still there. And we wanted to walk people through so that they could receive the lessons of why something like this happened, a day of mass carnage leading to 17 dead and 17 injured. But not only why it happened, what kinds of things can we do to stop the next one? And I reached out to the Office of Gun Violence Prevention folks, which are an amazing group of people, and the Vice President's office. And I told them what we were doing, and I said, I'd really like you all to come. This was scheduled to be a 3-hour day. She was here, not 3 hours, almost 5, because she wanted to know about those we lost. She wanted to know about the work that we're doing. Today was an incredibly consequential, meaningful day.
You told me that this building is going to be demolished.
Yeah.
And that this was sort of the final chapter.
The final lesson.
The final lesson.
Yeah. The Vice President can now go forward and talk specifically about what she saw in this building and relate it to what she needs to do, what we need to do as a country, whether it's on gun safety policy, whether it's on school construction, any of those things. She saw it today. She can talk about it now.
What do you believe needs to be done? We know that the president signed the most comprehensive gun safety legislation into law in decades, but still that did not go as far as the president and the vice president were hoping.
I wish we could have gone further, and I hope people vote in the next election to ensure we get to go further. But it went and it got a lot of things done. I'll just tell you this, for the first time in months, the homicide rate related to gun violence, for the first time in years, is trending down. I was just at the FBI facility in West Virginia where they conduct threat assessment and background checks last month. And they're doing the new enhanced under 21 background checks, which are a part of that legislation. And they were talking about the abundance of young people now that they've been able to stop from getting a weapon because of that new enhanced under 21 background check. Red flag laws save lives. Let me be clear. Had a red flag law been in place in Florida before February 14th, 2018, in all likelihood, this shooting never happens. Had a red flag law been in place before February 14th, 2018, I'd be visiting my daughter at University of Florida, not at a cemetery.
I do want to ask you about your daughter and just what we should know about her and how you have been able to cope with the loss of a daughter so young.
My daughter will forever be the toughest person I ever knew. And if you saw the way she died on the 3rd floor, running down the hallway for her life because she got locked out of a room, knowing there was a shooter at her back with an AR-15, and she made it to within 1 second of her life turning into the stairwell. It does not surprise me that she was fighting for her life that way. She's the toughest person I've ever known. I get through every day because she stands on my shoulders pushing me forward. I get through every day because I know no matter how hard this fight is, I will never, ever, ever have anything as hard as what she did running down that hallway. I am her voice now. My daughter was 14 when she was killed, forever 14. She should be 20 now. And I have a dream now of ending gun violence in America, and I'm dedicating my life to it.
You've been through that building. You've walked that hall.
Yeah.
What was that like for you?
When you walk through it, you see the blood of the victims, it's still there. You see DNA of the victims, it's still there. You see the shards of glass all over the place, and you walk through the shards of glass to go through the site visit. I sat in the spot where my daughter took her last breath. And for me, it's something I'll never, ever get over. I'll never comprehend how it was possible. I'll never forgive those who failed to deal with the reality of gun violence because we were listening to too many of the wrong people. And I will do everything I can to ensure we fire every single elected person who continues to fail on this issue, all I want to do is stop the next one.
We are now in a critical election year. What do you want Americans to know heading into this election year?
What I want America to know is there is only one president and vice presidential candidate. They're the ones running for re-election, President Biden and Vice President Harris, who stand for doing something about gun violence. So here's what I want America to know. This is not an election to sit home. If you're any of the many people across this country who think, I'm going to stay home on my couch, I don't need to vote, yes, you do. Let me be clear. If there's anybody in your life that you love, and because of that you want to reduce gun violence, you know how to vote and you know you need to vote.
Thank you so much for the time. I really, really appreciate it. Again, I know it's been a long and emotional day, so thank you.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you to him and Rachel Scott. Still to come tonight, Renee Fleming, opera legend, is putting the spotlight on the power of the connection between music and mind.
Why do so many people start their day here?
From ABC News, this is Start Here.
To be in the know and get a different take on the day's top stories.
A lot of news today, so let's get into it.
Listen now to the Daily News Podcast honored with 4 Edward R. Murrow Awards and see why the New York Times calls it a news podcast worth listening to. Start Here, ABC News. Make it your daily first listen.
Now, that's a part of the story I bet you didn't see coming.
Wherever you get your podcasts, Start Here.
They're the most mysterious creatures on Earth. They're masterminds, shapeshifters. They're just so incredibly alien. And yet, more like us than we ever could have imagined. What more do they have to tell us?
This is not about parents who just let their kid watch violent movies, play violent video games. This is about parents who neglected their son, ignored his cries for help, then bought him a gun.
The first parents in America to be charged in a school shooting.
They purchased that gun for him and bragged about it.
You don't get to walk away from that. That's a criminal act.
Sins of the parents, the Crumbly Trials.
The opposite of love is not hate. It's just being ignored.
Only on Hulu.
More Americans choose ABC News, America's #1 news source. With so much at stake in our world right now, more Americans turn here to David than anywhere else. And now, America's most trusted, most watched newscast, ABC's World News Tonight with David Muir, is available to you on YouTube. GMA Monday, K-pop sensation ITZY performs live. ITZY on tour on GMA, sponsored by Live Nation.
Seems so effortless. Soprano Renee Fleming has performed on the stages of the world's greatest opera houses and concert halls with 5 Grammy Awards under her belt, also a National Medal of Arts. There are so many others. But Fleming also is passionate about science. In a new anthology she's edited, Music and Mind, Harnessing the Arts for Health and Wellness, probing essays from musicians and singers, scientists reveal what we know and what remains to learn about music as therapy. Renee Fleming, it is such an honor to have you in our studio. It's so nice to meet you.
Thank you. Well,
thank you for being here.
I'm so glad to be with you.
And I can't wait to get into the book. You've explored the neuroscience, bridging music and well-being in a popular live stream series also called Music and Mind. This is a continuation. Why in book form?
So it's a much broader spectrum of activity. I really wanted to kind of share with the public my passion for this sector and how it's growing and really touch on all the bases, the pillars. So it just made sense to kind of move to book form. But the webinar was a pandemic project, and I was thrilled to be able to do it.
Perfect timing.
Yeah.
During the pandemic.
Yeah.
How do music and art therapies help people suffering from say anything from simple anxiety to stroke to diseases like dementia and MS?
Well, it comes from evolution. So we're really hardwired for music and the arts. I mean, it's part of our DNA. It enabled us to survive in many instances and to stay like in a socially cohesive group. So what they've discovered is it's the brain. Everything has to do with the fact that music in particular activates all parts of the known mapped brain. It's incredibly complex. And so that's why there are so many benefits. It's kind of the elephant in the room, but suddenly, because we have technology and brain scans, we can measure, which is required for our medical system in the US, we can absolutely measure how it works. So for children, for movement disorders like Parkinson's, and for traumatic brain injury, for depression, pain, they're finding tremendous benefits.
I tell you, before there was neuroscience, just growing up, loving music, hearing people sing and play instruments around my house, I knew that music was healing. You know, for anybody who's ever had a bad breakup, they know music is healing. But now there's neuroscience behind it. We know music nourishes the soul, but now it improves, we know it can improve health.
Right. I mean, if you think of toddlers and how they react to music when you put on something rhythmic.
Absolutely.
You know, you see it right there. It's who we are. The fact that children who study music can do better in school and better in life. And, you know, some of the things, like I just learned that there's singing, for instance, that can help women with postpartum depression. I mean, serious depression.
A specific kind of singing?
Yes, choral singing. So it's a group activity. All kind of shared artistic experiences, our brain waves align. So when I perform for an audience, their brain waves are aligning and mine as well. So again, science is just figuring some of these things out.
Well, music oftentimes is communal.
Yeah.
Whether you're at a concert or watching you on stage or just listening with a friend. You're at Met Opera rehearsing now in a production called The Hours. We saw a little bit of it at the beginning of the segment. This is really, for anyone who needs sort of an introduction, would this be a good introduction to opera?
Oh, yes. Absolutely. 40% of the audience, when we did it last year, had never been to the Met. So it's a new audience. They're young. They know a little bit about the story. You know, there are 3 women at the center of the story. There's LGBTQ lines in it. There's suicide. There's AIDS. It's very rich. It's much more modern than most of the things that we see or think about in opera. It's also very beautiful music.
It's complex.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Renee, thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you.
This is wonderful. The Hours will be performed at the Met Opera during the month of May. And Renee's book, you see it right there, Music and Mind, Harnessing the Arts for Health and Wellness, is on sale now. I'll start reading tonight. And that's our show for tonight. I'm Phil Lipoff. ABC News Live is here for you all night with the latest news, context, and analysis. And you can always find us on Hulu, Roku, Pluto TV, the ABC News app, and of course, abcnews.com. Good night.